Ladies and gentlemen, this woman you're looking at, her name is Rosa Jackson, and she applied for rental assistance in her state, and they gave $5,600 to help cover her back rent. Well, you are looking at her standing in front of her stuff. Despite all of that effort, she was still evicted. And a part of him taking the money from rental assistance, the contract says they get to stay. Well, he completely disregarded that, the landlord, and threw them out anyway after getting the federal rental assistant money. So, this came out on NBC April 3rd, 2021. Housing advocates say evictions are continuing at full steam despite a federal ban. So the ban for the eviction moratorium is until June 30th. And Joe Biden already said he's going to extend it from the 30th out to September. So we'll see. Wow. On March 26th, a sheriff deputy walked up to a one-story brick home in the suburb of North Tulsa, Oklahoma, and told a woman inside it was time to leave. She called legal aid services of Oklahoma. In a panic, Eric Hollick, the attorney on the phone, instructed her to grab important documents and medicine. There was a chance she wouldn't be allowed to return. The woman and her partner, who lived in the home with 5 children, ranging from age 1 to 17, thought they were going to be able to stay because that was the condition that was given to the landlord when he took the $5,600 in federal assistance. That's part of the deal. You take the money, then you have to let these people stay. They had struggled to pay their bills during the pandemic, so they applied for federal rental assistance through a local nonprofit. 3 months before they were evicted, their landlord, Gary Ramey, received $5,600 that would cover the back rent they owed. In return, he signed a document agreeing to drop the eviction case, as was required by the nonprofit that issued the relief, according to a copy of the document they shared by Hollett. Instead, Ramey moved forward with the eviction and a judge granted it. Now the family of 7 is living in an extended stay hotel. It really shows the breakdown, said Hollett, the coordinator of housing advocacy for legal aid services of Oklahoma. Ramey confirmed he received the payment and signed the contract, but said he was unaware of the conditions involved and would have to go back and look at the paperwork. So he technically illegally threw this woman and her family out. Their rent was caught up from the rental assistance, and he threw them out anyway. So I don't know. Well, it's a good thing she lawyered up. I'm glad she got a lawyer. I don't remember that, he said. I thought they were just helping them catch up the rent. With millions of renters staring down evictions during the global health crisis, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention on Monday extended its nationwide ban on evictions until June 30th. The order, which had been set to expire March 31st, is meant to shield families from being pushed out of their homes. But while tenant advocates raised, they said Mondays, they were in favor of Monday's extension, but they said the program's implementation hasn't been equal in practice. Many renters, like the North Tulsa family, are still being displaced from their homes. Interviews with renters, legal aid attorneys, housing experts, and affordable housing advocates at the state, local, and national level shows a process that can be subjected to the whims of local politics or geography. Depending on the courtroom, a judge hearing eviction cases might ignore the ban, questioning the federal government's authority to implement it. Other judges have questioned whether the order applies to tenants on month to month leases. Across the country, landlords are continuing to find ways to get tenants out, in some cases by declining to renew their lease or claiming that tenants broke the lease terms. Well, what about this dude that took the federal money and threw these people out anyway when they applied for assistance and got it? While the federal policy bans evictions based solely on non payment of rent, it allows evictions of other issues such as damaging property and engaging in criminal activity. So, in other words, the landlord can lie and make up something that you did that you really didn't do. And renters may be unaware of the steps they need to take to ensure the eviction moratorium applies to them. Since the pandemic began, 284,490 evictions have been filed across 5 states and 28 cities, tracked by the Eviction Lab at Princeton University. More than 163,700 of them have been filed since the federal government ban went into effect September 4th. Many landlords have flouted the order and its protection, said Diane Yentl, the president and CEO of the National Low Income Housing Coalition. It is especially disappointing because the Biden administration knows very well what the flaws and the shortcomings are and still fail to correct any of them. The White House said in a statement that the federal government was strengthening the enforcement tool to ensure the moratorium is implemented. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, the Federal Trade Commission, announced March 29th that both agencies would monitor and investigate eviction practices. The White House statement encouraged tenants to reach out to CFPB and the Department of Housing and Urban Development regarding any issues with debt collectors, evictions, and discriminatory treatment. Just as the pandemic has disproportionately affected Black, of course, people of color, especially the Black community, racial disparities in the ability to afford housing influence families, vulnerability to evictions now. Black, Hispanic, and Asian households were more likely to be behind on rent than white households. Yeah, because they always do. They do this through every type of recession. They always make sure white people are fine and everybody else to hell with you. I mean, that's the truth. You can even look at the 2008 recession. It was the same way. Go look through the articles. It was the same way. White households were fine. Everybody else was falling apart. According to the analysis of the U.S. Census Bureau Household Pulse survey data, in Macon, Georgia, one landlord attempted to have a renter evicted over arrears. After the judge declined because of the CDC order, the landlord filed a few days later seeking to terminate the tenant's lease for a different reason, according to Susan Reef, a housing attorney and director of the Eviction Prevention Project for the Georgia Legal Services Program. Reef said the group was able to successfully argue the filing was an attempt to get around the CDC order because of the timing. In Louisiana, legal aid lawyers had fought eviction cases based on minor leasing violations that have ranged from having a trampoline in the yard to failing to mow the lawn. Amanda Golab, a housing attorney in the Southeast Louisiana Legal Services, said that a landlord trying to find a loophole to evict tenants who owe rent might protest. It's really about the cat that they have. One filing said the landlord tried to have a renter thrown out over a damaged stove. A fire marshal report helped prove the tenant was not at fault. Mm-mm-mm. We know it's about non-payment, but all of a sudden There's an eviction for a broken stove. Yeah, that's true. So, y'all, I have a feeling 2021 is going to be one of those record breaking years for throwing people out. So, I hope in her case, being that she got a lawyer, something can be done, especially since this landlord took $5,600 and signed an agreement saying the family would not be put out. So we'll see what happens. I don't know if they'll do an update on this or not. It certainly don't say. But y'all, it is going to be hard times for many people out here. So please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. And also, part of the story, her partner that she lives with, he ended up having heart failure, and and she was saying he was a big help in paying the household bills. So not only is she worried about evictions, she got a partner with health issues. And I know, it doesn't really go far into what kind of health he's in. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.